Hello, don't look so disappointed. Debbie normally sits here. She's gone to see her mother. Mother's not very well. I'm not going to waffle on too much at the moment. You're going to see her in the video because we're going to be talking about this and reviewing this. You're going to see it in a camping mode. We're going to take the camper van out, so we'll be using that purely to power the camper van. We'll be using it purely to power our narrowboat, which I'm now doing the filming in, and you'll see me doing various projects around the garden. We won't talk anymore, we'll go straight into the video, and then at the end I'll give you my final thoughts, rundown and a little bit more technical specification on this unit. By the way, it's an Aferiy P210. Well, you asked for it, so here it is. Yeah, an impromptu weekend away in family's garden. Well,
yes.
When I say garden, if you look behind me, all that green stuff there, all this green stuff there, and the big house and the pool over there. Yeah, and we're in the corner in the camp. Yeah. In the camp. Deb's got a bit of a sweat on. What was our main worry this weekend?
Power. Fridge for Bonnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, for her insulin.
Yeah, as you know, she's diabetic. We have to keep her insulin at around about 4-5 degrees. So it's in the fridge, which I'll show you in a little while. And we've got no electric hookup here, so we've actually brought with us a new solar generator that we've been sent to try out, and some solar panels. So hopefully, today is Friday.
Yep.
And we're going home Sunday. Now it's sunny at the moment, so we've got no problems. So hopefully that's going to satisfy our needs and keep the fridge and all the electrics in the van going to keep Bonnie's insulin cool.
Yeah.
If not, it's no real hardship. We just run into the house and
put it in the fridge.
Insulin in the fridge. But it's going to be nice to see if we can get this setup working, so we know we can go away for
anywhere.
A long weekend or maybe even a week, and know we haven't got to worry about power.
Yeah, that'll be good, wouldn't it? That'll be brilliant.
Brilliant. Now, depending on what order I've done my camper van videos, you may have already seen our inflatable Vango awning, because we're going to spend most of the time in the house over there and around the pool. We're only coming back to the van to sleep, so we've just got Debbie's toilet tent. That's all we're using this week. Also, the tent is going to cover the solar generator, because I'm not sure of the IP rating of these, but I don't think that'll be any good, that being out in the rain. Yeah, so I think on the strength of video reviews I've done on either solar generators and solar panel products, the good people at Aferiy contacted me and said would I be interested in reviewing one of their items. As I've said to all of the others, it will be an honest review, so if I think it's any good I will say, if I think it's a load of rubbish I will say, and I'll try and sort of cover the good and the bad of it, but hopefully it's going to do what we want it to do for this weekend. Right, I'm going to give you a quick look at the unit, but because it's a manic weekend, all friends and family up here, I'm not going to be able to do any sort of in-depth filming. So once I get back onto the boat, we'll do some more tests and more reviews and a bit more in-depth of what it does. But just for a quickie now, I'll just show you, give you a quick rundown on it. Right, so this is the Aferiy P210. It's a 2,400 watt model, giving you a capacity of 2,048 watt hours. Again, I'll explain in more detail. We've got an array of outlets, USB outlets, USB-C, high power outlets. We've got the normal cigarette lighter outlet. We've got the XT60 outlet. Two more 12 volt outlets there, built-in LED, a display of what's going on, power going in, power going out. That's my solar input over on this side, and let's get pointy finger over here. That's mains output there. Now, one of the first things I noticed about the unit, and it's not a deal breaker, just a little bit of a negative for what I wanted to do. I normally plug in, whenever I'm doing a review on these, a watt hour meter, so I can measure what's been used, what goes in, what goes out. Just let me show you. Now, where the two 30 volt outlets are on here, there's a little plastic flappy thing. Well, that is going to stop my meter going in there. Now, I could be brutal and just break that off. I don't really want to do that, because when you're not using it, you'll close that back down to cover the flaps up. But I'm not going to be able to do the capacity test that I want to. Now, if I'd had a shorter trailing lead, I could have plugged that into the generator, then plugged my watt-hour meter into that, and then plugged the van electrics into that, but I don't have one, so on this particular occasion I can't do it. I'll be able to do more testing on that when I get back to the boat. Now oh, come on, point your finger, here we go. There. The panels they've sent me are they've sent me two panels, two 100 watt panels. They were going to send me originally a 200 watt panel, but I think they've had some promotion on at the moment, some good deals, and they've just flown off the shelf. So I've still got the same capacity, so you can buy the panels separately and interconnect them so they're seriesed up, giving me 200 watts going in there. Let's just have a little bit of a closer look at the panels themselves. Right, so they're of a fold-up suitcase design, as they normally are. Let me just switch to a wide screen so I can get everything in. So when they're folded up, I'm still plugged in at the moment. When they're folded up, that comes in a small suitcase size, fabric construction. And one of the downsides of these, they are once you've got them up on the stands, they're very flimsy. Just let me show you. I'll just put the camera down so I can get this back on the stand, and then I'll show you what I mean. Right, you've got the fabric flop out legs. There is a little strengthener in there, one either end, but that leaves this middle section a bit floppy in the wind. At the moment we've got no wind, but I don't really know how they'd stand up to much wind. So if you're going to go away, chances are you'll come back and they'd have blown down. I've checked through all the paperwork on them. There's no actual IP rating. As you know, here in the UK we have a thing called an IP rating, IP standing for ingress protection, and ranges anywhere from 22 to 66 for very waterproof stuff. The instruction says don't get them wet. Now, I don't know how they'll fare with a light shower of rain on there. I'm assuming they're going to be okay. Obviously your fabric is going to get wet, but anything other than that light shower, I think we could be in for problems. I might, once we get back to the marina on the boat, I might actually get a hose pipe on them just to see what happens. Because like I say, if I can give you people a good idea of what they can stand up to, it's just more helpful to you should you think of purchasing these in the future. And again, providing prices right on these things, the fact that they are a little bit wibbly wobbly isn't a biggie. As campers and boaters, we can always adapt something, just bang some posts or pegs in just to strengthen that up a little bit should the wind get up. Let's just have a look over here on the van electrics. Oh yeah, I was looking at the wrong one. That's a good sign. Green LEDs means we've got full power going in, and fridge is nice and cold. There's Bonnie's insulin and a little protective container. Yeah, cold in there, so the old generator's doing what it says on the tin. Early days yet, 4 o'clock on Friday, and we're leaving Sunday, so hopefully it's going to do what it's meant to do all weekend, and we'll be able to report back on that. Yeah, we've just got the solar generator in the corner of the toilet tent. We'll set the toilet up on there, providing Deb doesn't lift the flap up on there and pee in that tonight. We should be okay. If I hear a scream, I know she's got it wrong. Yeah, I just got to go shut up shop now and get to the house for a beer. it's a little bit late at night. I'm just going to go back, check on the state of the solar generator. We're at, let's see if we can see that, we're at 89%, so I think that's going to be good for this evening. I think I'm going to leave the solar panels out for tonight. Just going to change their orientation, so they're going to catch the morning sun, and we'll come out again in the morning and see what state the solar generator's in. Ooh, bit of a thick head this morning. Too much hydration yesterday. Just going to have a look, see what we are on the power unit. The sun has come round now, and I've just moved the panels so they're in the sun. So we've got the panels there, one's in part shade, but I can't do much about that, the building's in the way. And yeah, overnight we've dropped from what we were down to 62%. There's only 9 watts being used, and there's 55 watts going in at the moment. Yeah, so I'll come and check on that in an hour. Hopefully the panels are in full sun, and we'll see what sort of wattage we're getting out of that 200 watt system. And that's more like it. You're getting, you see that, 160 watts going in. So the solar panels are doing what they should do. Right, so the weather turned for the worst today, and we have had some very, very heavy showers. And unfortunately, the panels have been out in the showers. All the cloth around the panels is quite wet, but there's been no short circuit. I think the sun, as you can see, maybe you can't see, but the sun is set behind the trees behind me, so there's no real input from the solar. We've got zero input, but let's just have a look at what capacity we are on the generator. Yeah, we're at 77%. There's nothing going in, 10 watts coming out, and I think we got up to round about the 89% capacity. Right, we're back from our weekend away. Unit performed absolutely fantastic, just as we hoped it would. The panels, as you know, was a little bit dubious about them, not being very rigid, a little bit flimsy. They stood up to the wind. We had some torrential downpours of rain for about an hour. Now, they were out in that for that time, and I had said about I couldn't find anywhere in the instructions what the IP rating of those was, and it said do not get them wet. Got them wet, obviously didn't intend to get them that wet, and they performed flawlessly. So I wouldn't advise, if you get those, to get them wet, but if you do get caught out like we did in a shower, you know that isn't going to do any real horrendous damage to them. Right, now going to have a test a weekend out on the boat with the new power bank. There's the one that I've been using for the last 2 years. Here's the new Aferiy one. That one's rated at 2000 watts. This one is rated at 2400 watts. And it's a lot smaller, and this one has got the charger built into it, whereas this one has a large brick type charger. So the proof, what is the saying? How does the saying go? The proof of the pudding is in the eating. So we're going to put it through its paces this weekend on the boat and see how it holds up. Right, in the engine room of the boat at the moment. Got the Aferiy behind me. It's all turned off, but it's charged up to 100%. What I intend to do at the moment, let's see if I can just see over here. There's our inverter. At the moment we're running off our leisure batteries, but I'm gonna switch the inverter off, plug all our electrics into the Aferiy, and we'll do a capacity test just to see what sort of capacity we can get out of it. So we're all on. Got a bit of a reflection on there, 100%. Turn the AC on, you should see that flick on there. Yeah, little symbol on there to say that the AC is now switched on. Plug my extension lead in there. I will put my kilowatt hour meter. There we go. 230 volts, 50 hertz AC. So I'll plug our boat electrics directly into that. The whirring noise you can hear is our cool box that I've just turned on. And we shall leave that on now. As you can see, we've got a 71 watt load. Yeah, so we'll run purely off of that till that is deleted. We'll see how many watts we've used, and if we get close to that 2048 watt hour capacity that it says it has, it's got a 2.4 kilowatt maximum output. So Deb's going to fill the washing machine up. We're going to be running the washing machine on that. I think the washing machine's rated at about 1600 watts. I'll just double check in a minute. We can use the electric kettle, the toaster, all the other things that we've got plugged into the 230 volt sockets, our router, our chargers and bits and pieces. So it's going to be a real good test for this. There's our washing machine, and there should be a rating plate on here somewhere. There we go, you can just see that, 1600 watts. Now we've actually been cruising this morning, so we've got a tank of hot water. Otherwise, if you can, oh come on, point your finger, there we go, just up there, there's our switch for the immersion heater. So I could switch that on and this would power the immersion heater. It's a 1 kilowatt immersion. So with this, with a 2000 watt hour, we should be able to power the immersion for 2 hours off a full charge on that. What are you doing, Deborah?
Putting the washing in. 2 hours, 7 minutes.
Yeah, just do a normal wash.
Go.
So that's now started. And as you can see, that's pulling about 1451 watts. Right, I shall leave the Aferiy in the engine room doing its thing, powering the boat, and with the knowledge that we're going to be okay for a few hours. All our 230 volt sockets, our nice stocked fridge. It's all being powered. Right, I've actually got the immersion on and just flick the kettle on as well, so we're drawing 1875 watts or 1.8 kilowatts out of it. There's a cooling fan inside which will kick on in very shortly, I'd have thought, because that'll produce a little bit of heat, drawing that sort of current out of it. Right, we're down to 26%. And according to my little kilowatt hour meter, we've used 1255 watt hours. All nail biting stuff now, 2%, 2 minutes remaining, and 1636 watt hours. There, that's just switched itself off. And that was the final reading. Well, it does store the readings. I don't know how long for. There's the voltage reading, what we've got now. That was the lowest current we drew, 1910 watts or 1.9 kilowatts. That was when the immersion in the kettle was on. And that was the total capacity we got out of the unit, 1675 watt hours. Right, little garden project today. I don't know whether you can make out behind me. If I turn the camera around, you'll probably see better. Yeah, this part of the willow overhanging in the wind, I think it's broke away at the bottom there, so the weight of this is hanging right over. Yeah, I don't want that to go completely over the next high winds we have, because that's going to fall on my garden stools and break those. So I've got an electric chainsaw. Hopefully I'll have all my fingers when I finish. I'm gonna use the Aferiy to do it, so all free electricity, charged up via the sun. Now the other thing I'm going to do as well is attempt, there we go, there, got my finger working. The lawnmower. Don't know whether it's going to do it with the lawnmower. Just looked at the rating on that. That's 1400 watts. That will do just over 2 kilowatts, 2000 watts. But the trouble with electric equipment with motors, induction motors, is the start-up current. There's a big surge when you start those up. So at 1400 watts, 3 or 4 times surge on a start current, that will probably trip out the Aferiy. I think the chainsaw is, I'll tell you what, I'll have a look. There we go. The chainsaw is 750 watts. So that should cope with that all right. Well, we're going to find out. Right, got the lawnmower ready and the Aferiy. As I said, not expecting this to cope with it. Lawnmower's 1400 watts. Maximum output on that is 2000 watts or 2 kilowatts, but it's the start-up current on an inductive load. If it was a resistive load like a 1400 watt heater, no problem. But it's that initial start current, 3 or 4 times higher than that 1400 watts, is probably going to trip the safety circuit on that. Here it goes. Well, blow me down with a feather. That has surprised me. I've had other manufacturers' units, similar output, and I've put a similar load onto them, and they've just tripped out under the starting current. So amazing, yeah, amazing. Well chuffed. Now going to mow my lawn eco-friendly. Well, all done. Mowed the whole lawn, no problem at all. As I said, very surprised it done that. Let's just have a look, see how much charge we got left. Yeah, so this has been on 2 or 3 hours this morning, and 90% left, so only used 10%. So only one thing to do now: get it plugged in, get the 200 watts of solar, charging it up for free. Let's just have a look what we got going in. I don't know whether we can see. Very reflective, the display. 197, now dropping down as a cloud comes past. Yeah, so I'll leave that like that for the rest of the afternoon. That's going to charge that up totally free, all ready for my next sort of project. So if you're still here, you'd have seen me and Deb using this in many different ways. Loads of people do reviews on these type of products, all different type of reviews. Some very scientific, deep in-depth bench testing. I tend to do a little bit of bench testing, as you see, but try to use them in real life situations where I think you people are going to be using them. And overall, I love it. This is now my go-to unit. The things I like about it, it is, although it's still heavy, for its relative size and output, it's lighter than some other manufacturers' products that I've got. So I'm always using that now to do any DIY projects. I've been redoing the decking, using circular saws, various power tools, anything in the garden, that now gets used. Always charge it up now with the solar. We're in the UK and we're now coming to the end of our summer, so it might take me a couple of days to charge it from the 200 watt panels that we've got. And the panels, like I said, you'd have seen in the video, I was a little bit unsure about them, but they've performed flawlessly in all types of weathers. Although, as I said, and I still stick by that, they're not the most sturdy of panel. But then again, they are they are what they say on the tin. They're a foldable, portable panel. Aferiy have actually got some promotions on at the moment. They've given me some discount codes that I will put in the description below. They'll only last, I think, from when this video go live, they'll only last for about 4 weeks. So if you're watching this in 2 or 3 months time, check out their website for their latest promotions. They're always having various promotions on, and I'm sure there'll be something along there to meet your needs. Yeah, so basically the rundown on this, I've made some notes. I'm not a lover of people standing here reading from notes, but my memory, and Deb would vouch for me if she was here, my memory is terrible. So this is the Aferiy P210 model. It's got a maximum 2,400 watt output with a peak of 4,000 watts. It's a 2,048 watt hour model. So that is the capacity that you've got. It's got a built-in 500 watt MPPT, so you can have up to 500 watts maximum of solar and 50 volts input from that solar. There's a built-in 1100 watt charger, and that's one of the features I love. So we haven't got this big brick charger that you have with a lot of the other units. That's all built in there. You can also charge it via cigarette light type adapter via 12 or 24 volt, whatever the output is on your vehicle, into the XT90 input. They say there's 3,500 cycles, and I think they always calculate that will be around about the 85% mark. So in 3,500 recharges and cycles of that, you'll still have 85% of the battery capacity left. You'll only find that out in 3,500 cycles. What else have we got? Yeah, as I said earlier, a lot of people do some absolutely fantastic bench tests on these. Now I think if I'm going to continue reviewing these type of products, I'm going to invest in a variable DC load, so I can actually test the DC load, make sure we get full capacity out of that on a DC load. At the moment I've got my laptop plugged in on USB, and that's pulling 31 watts. So if you do the maths, 31 into, what did I say, 2048, that should recharge that laptop quite a few times. Now I'm sure there's quite a bit of info on this that I've probably missed. If there's anything you want to know about it, pop a message in the comment section below and I will answer it. If I don't know the answer, I'll get onto Aferiy, their technical bit, or do some research on the website and see if I can answer those questions for you. As I said, I know some of you are not interested in this type of thing. You hope to see a narrowboat video. The next video will be a narrowboat video, but I hope from the thumbnail that you saw, you would have realised this wasn't a narrowboat cruising video. Yeah, so that's about all I can think of to talk about that. As I said before, there's some promotion code. I'll be in the description below. I think these are retailing at the moment at $16.99, but they've got an offer on their site. And then also with my promo code, you can get them for around about £989. Now, whether at the promotion price of £989, whether that is competitive with other manufacturers, obviously if you're in the market for one of these, you guys are going to do your research and you'll be able to work that one out for yourself. What I can say, it does what it says on the tin, and I've been more than pleased with it. So that's about it. I promise I won't have this with me on the next video. Deb will be sat here. You'll have her smiling face instead of me waffling on. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. If you want future notifications of any videos we upload, hit the bell icon, and we will see you in the next video.